Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where you explore yourself, banking, and general knowledge, etc. Memoir of my banking journey by Mr. V.H. Ramakrishnan, retired General Manager of Bank of India. Episode number 20. Today's chapters are Golden Jubilee of joining and an unforgettable day in a bachelor's life. The link of earlier episodes is available in description. Golden Jubilee of joining. Today I am celebrating the golden jubilee of my joining the bank. Prompted by Srinivas Rao Rabindranath, I am sharing my experiences of the first week. Exactly 50 years back, 15 February 1966, Tuesday, dressed immaculately in white pant and white shirt with a sparkling tie, I stepped into Bank of India, Madras branch at 10 Armenian Street, now known as Chennai branch. Slightly nervous, but with the excitement of working in one of the best private banks of the country and with an ambition in mind, I reported to Mr. A.K. Raghavan, the accountant of Madras branch. Mr. Raghavan, popularly known as AKR, looked at me and went through the appointment letter. I was taken as a grade 1 direct recruit officer because of my qualification as a chartered accountant. Normally, first class graduates would be appointed in grade 2 and then they would be promoted to grade 1. Then he looked around for a free table. Luckily, a big table next to him was unoccupied. He told me to sit there. Then he called the sub staff and told him to bring a current account ledger. He arranged for some blank statement of account sheets and told me to copy the ledger entries account by account in those sheets. I studied this copywriting earnestly. At that time, I had no idea that this was a clerical work. I was expecting to be taken around and introduced to all the staff members. No, nothing of the sort happened. On top of it, there was no friendly look or greeting from anyone. Only one exception, Mr. P.S. Narayanan, president of the Officers Association, came and he introduced himself. There was a reason behind that. He hailed from a town called Periyakulam near Madurai. From my application, he had found out that I also studied in Periyakulam for 2 years. That created a bond between us. I learned later that the officers were not happy about direct recruitment in grade 1. So there was a sort of mild boycott of newly appointed grade 1 officer. Unfortunately, I was the only one officer who joined on that day, so I had no company. After some time, I looked around and tried to locate the washroom, but failed in my attempt. I got up and asked the service staff. He just showed his hand vaguely in some direction, which was not helpful. With great difficulty, I located the washroom, which were in a dark side lane on the side of the main hall of the bank. At 2 p.m., I saw many going out for lunch. I also went out alone to one crystal lunchroom nearby and had my lunch there. I returned and continued with my statement writing. By about 4:30 p.m., Mr. AKR called me. There was one young lady called Sita Verma standing before him and was complaining something. Later I learned that she was a direct recruit in grade 2 and was the wife of an IAS officer. It appeared the clerk who used to help her in checking the day's entries in the ledger was absent. In those days, there was a system of entering all the vouchers, checks, etc., pertaining to a ledger in a supplementary cash book. From this book, the clerk could call out the entries and the officer could take the relevant account to see whether they were correctly posted. Eka told me to assist her, so I sat with her and called out from the supplementary. She had the ledger with her. At that time, I did not know that it was a clerical job or that she was junior to me. P.S. Narayanan was around. When I was calling out the entries, this work was over by 5:30. I went to Sri Care and told him that I had finished the job assigned to me. I was eager to go home early. He looked at me and asked me to go to advances department and sit with them and help them. Mr. M.S. Somanarayanan was in the advances department. He told me to go through some files and write routine reminders. I found them chatting and cracking some jokes. AKR left around 7:30 p.m. At about 8 p.m., I asked Somanarayanan whether I could leave. He said I could go home. I did not know at that time that Somi was also junior to me. Same routine followed during the second day. Mr. Narayanan came to me and told me that I should not call out the supplementary to Sita Verma as he was very junior to me. Besides, it was a clerical job. The unfriendly atmosphere was suffocating me. In the evening, Sita Verma came to me directly and asked me to call out the supplementary. I told her that I was not supposed to do that, it was not an officer's job. With a red face, he went to AKR and complained. I was sitting next to him. Before I could say anything, Mr. Narayanan came and told AKR, Mr. Ramakrishnan is a grade 1 officer. How can he call out supplementary to a grade 2 officer? It is not correct. AKR told me to go back to my seat. That day also I stayed with the advanced department in the evening till about 8 p.m. Next day, a new problem arose. Mr. P. N. Venkataraman, who was the occupant of the table, came back from leave, so I had no place to sit. I went to AKR. He asked the service staff, let us call him R, to find out whether there was any vacant table. He came back and informed that one table was vacant in the foreign exchange department. There were two annexes to the main banking hall. One was occupied by dispatch department and stationery, another was occupied by foreign exchange and cash book departments. AKR asked Art to take me to the table. He came and showed me the place. Shock 1. I requested Art to bring me a ledger. He gave a reply which I remember verbatim even today. Translations of what he told me in Tamil was, look here, accountant told me to show you the sheet. I have shown the sheet. My job is over. Bringing a ledger is not my job. He walked away. I could not believe what I heard. I went to AKR and told him what had happened. Shock 2. I thought AKR would take Art to task. Instead, he called him, patted him on the back, and told him very softly, please carry the ledger to Ramakrishnan's table. This time I are obliged. I could not understand this type of behavior. I looked around. The foreign exchange department was just like a fish market. Everyone was talking in loud voice. This is not the office, I imagined. As usual, no one took a cognizance of my presence except Sita Verma, who was in charge of cash book department. She gave a half-hearted smile. Late, Mr. Ranganathan was heading the forest department. I felt I should seriously think about continuing in the bank in such an atmosphere. 3. It was Friday, 18th February. I continued in the same seat, writing statements of account. Around 4 p.m., I saw two waiters from a hotel entering with two big trays containing peach melua, popular fruit salad in Chinnamatur village. I was a little embarrassed. Should I refuse when it was offered to me? Since no one was talking to me, I did not feel like accepting the hospitality. I also did not know the occasion which called for a celebration. I came to know later that it was a practice to order a dessert as a weekend celebration by the forex and cash book departments. The waiter started serving the peak melua. Everybody in the hall, including those in the cash book departments, had a bowl in front of them. No one offered me. I was just ignored. I felt hurt. I was just like a piece of furniture as far as others were concerned. I thought how come no courtesy was shown to a newcomer. Even if an enemy comes to your house, you would extend normal courtesy. I felt this was inhuman. I made up my mind that I would quit the bank, but still I thought I should not do anything in a hurry. I should wait till the end of the month. I went home that day as a sad person. Meaning point 1. Saturday, 19th February, around 10 a.m., AKR called me. He told me that the cash book of a particular day, about 5 days back, was not balanced. The department had tried its best to locate the differences, but could not. Because of this, general ledger could not be posted. He added, you are a chartered accountant. Please try to help them in locating the difference. I went to the department. K. Gopal was the clerk, who later became a very close friend. It took me about 15 minutes to understand the system. It was a three-column line cash book, which was called cash contra book. The three columns were cash, clearing, and transfer. Once I understand the system, I started checking. Within 20 minutes, I located the differences. I still feel it was real luck. I went to AKR and told him that the cash book was balanced. He exclaimed, really? He just could not believe it. I came back to my seat. Within 5 minutes, Mr. Kopikar, who was the sub manager, came to my seat and shook my hands and said, young man, what magic did you do? I felt quite happy. After he left, To my surprise, one by one, all the officers and many clerks of the bank came to my seat and introduced themselves and congratulated me. The ice was broken. It was as if I had become a hero. I just could not believe the turn of events. Turning point 2. Monday, 21st February. AKR called me and told me to take charge of cash book department and to relieve Sita Verma. I took charge of the department. The thought of resignation vanishes from my mind. When the next Friday came, I had a pitch malwa before me. The loud noise of forest development was now music to my ears. Moral of the story: never come to the hasty decision. Always wait for some time. Things may change suddenly. PS1. There was no structured training program both on the job and off the job in those days for direct recruit officers. It all started only with the 1972 batch. Acknowledgement. I am grateful to the editor Tarangan for giving me permissions to reproduce what I had written in the House magazine. Of course, this is not a verbatim repetitions. Now the chapter, an unforgettable day in a bachelor's life. An unforgettable day in a bachelor's life. Preamble. We all remember many special days in life. Happy days like wedding day, birth of the children, etc. Sad days like death of the near and dear. But do we remember an ordinary day when nothing spectacular happened, but still it brings back pleasant memories even after 48 years? I am going to share the events of one such day. In the process, I may give you a glimpse of life in Madras, now Chennai of those days. 1967, on Sunday morning, I was a bachelor living in a small self-contained portion of a house at Illai Amman Coil Colony in Chennai. It was right behind Stella Maris College. The owner was living upstairs and another couple with a child were living in the other portion in the ground floor. My parents were in Thiruvannamalai. I woke up at 7 a.m., made my own filter coffee, and sat with the Hindu newspaper. 90% of Chennaites were addicted to the Hindu. I was glancing through the entertainment column and found that there was a morning show of a play drama of Cho Ramaswamy, editor of the clock and political commentator. I decided to go for the play. 8:30 a.m. The famous Woodlands Drive-in restaurant was only 15 minutes walk from my house. This restaurant served excellent breakfast and filter coffee with a pleasant aroma. The restaurant was sitting at the corner of Cathedral Road and Mount Road, now Annasalai. The famous Gemini Studios was on the opposite side. Woodlands had taken on long lease land from the Horticulture Society. The restaurant was surrounded by trees and plants, a lovely peaceful place in the crowded city. Its main attraction was you could drive in your car and park it in the parking lot. A waiter would come and attach a tray to the car window and take your order. Many film stars used to come there for breakfast. The restaurant was also a very good example of costing. There were five different rates. The most expensive was to sit in the car and order. Next rate was for those who wanted to sit in an air-conditioned room inside the restaurant. The third rate was for those who wanted to sit in open air or in the non-AC hall, served by the waiters. The fourth rate was for those who opted for self-service. Items would be made in open kitchen. The last would be for those who only wanted a takeaway. 5 rates for the items from the same kitchen. I opted for self-service and had a plate of idli, vada and masala dosa, followed by a hot cup of steaming filter coffee. When the quality is superb, you feel really on top of the world. 10 a.m. From the restaurant, I walked to the Safari Theatre in Mount Road where the play by Joe Ramaswamy was being staged. Now I have to tell you about the background of the Safari Theatre complex, which can be a lesson in business strategy. Jalal Bhakumsi Shah was a very religious Gujarati Jain who was having jewelry shop called Bhakumsi's at So Carpet, a crowded business area dominated by the Gujaratis and Marwadis. It was a well-known and reputed shop. I had an opportunity to visit this shop for audit purposes during my CA training days in early 60s. The peculiar feature of this shop was a mini air-conditioned theater inside the shop called Beacom's Little Big Air Conditioned Theater with 35 mm screen. The shop also had a bar served soft drink. Mr. Shah explained his philosophy behind these facilities. When a lady wants to buy jewelry, she would take at least an hour to choose or shortlist a few things for her husband to join the decision taking. Until then, the husband and children would get bored. They could go and sit in the theater and watch cartoons until the lady selected the design she liked. They could also go to the bar and have a soft drink. One stop would be distributing balloons to the kids, all free of cost. Every Sunday morning, the shop would show a full-length movie and invite stop customers. Nityasha told me that whenever the lady of the house wants to do shopping for jewelry, the husband and children would shout, "Let us go for vacancies," because of the entertainment factor. In 1962-63, when gold control was introduced and only 14 karat jewelry were allowed to be manufactured, it hit the jewelry industry. By then, Mr. Shah had gained a good knowledge about exhibitions of movies. He started building, if I am right, the first multiplex in India at a prime location in Mount Road. The main theatre was called Sapphire, with 70 mm screen, again the first in Chennai. The complex was fully air conditioned. There were very few air conditioned theatres in Chennai those days. It was the most modern theatre. He also built two small theatres on the top floors, Emerald and Blue Diamond. There again he introduced a novelty. The main theatre would show a super hit English movie, Emerald would show a Hindi movie, and Blue Diamond an English movie. Blue Diamond had continuous screening from say 10 a.m. till midnight. He could walk in and walk out whenever he wanted. Invariably, who could not get tickets for a show in Sapphire would move over to Emerald, and if that was fully full, they would go to Blue Diamond. I still remember the advertisement in the Hindu in the front page taking votes from public as to which movie should be the inaugural movie at Sapphire. Public were asked to choose from Cleopatra, My Fair Lady, and can majority voted for Cleopatra starring Elizabeth Taylor. It ran houseful for months. Back to my Sunday. I reached the Sapphire Theatre to watch the play Why Not? A hilarious comedy. In the first scene, we saw a person giving a religious discourse. He made some controversial statement. Immediately, a person who was sitting behind me got up and shouted, "Why not?" We all told him to sit down. He did not listen and walked to the stage and got a hold of the mic. Then we realized that he was part of the cast. What a dramatic opening. Non-stop laughing for more than 2 hours. Around 1 p.m. the play was over. 1 p.m. Now was the lunch time. I decided to go to Woodlands Hotel at Edward Elliot Roads, now known as Dr. Radhakrishnan's Life. It was one of the top vegetarian hotels in Chennai. Hotels like Taj, Sheraton, and not come to Chennai. Only Connemara was there, which I could not afford. Woodlands used to serve what was known as Bombay top meals. The attraction was you would get a soup followed by puris. Rice came later. Ice cream and bida pan were the added attraction. After a hearty meal, I reached home a distance of only 1 kilometer and took a happy afternoon nap. 5 p.m. So far the day went off very well. Now what should I do? I made my evening coffee. Once again I went to the Hindu. This time I looked out for the movies. I knew it would be difficult to get tickets without advance booking on a Sunday evening. To my surprise, I found that Sun Theatre, 15 minutes walk, there was the rerun of a Tamil movie called Nannal, directed by that famous director K. Baluchandar. I was a great fan of Baluchandar. Somehow I had missed the movie when it was released in 1966 or so. So I rushed to the theatre. Luckily, I got the tickets for balcony. The movie was a thriller and enjoyed every moment. It was the story of a group of robbers holding a family as captives and how the head of the family cleverly outwits the robbers. There was also a lot of natural comedy with the famous actor Nagesh stealing the show. I came out around 9:15 p.m. fully contented as the film ended on a happy note. If it was a tragedy like Ek Tujhe Ke Liye, my mood would have been different. 9:30 p.m. Now the stomach reminded me, what about my dinner? On my way home, I had to cross Mount Road. There is a small Udupi restaurant which was famous for the chapati kurma they served during the night. I stepped in and enjoyed my simple dinner. 10:30 p.m. Back home. I hit the bed by 11 p.m. I reflected on the day's event. I felt I had a great day. Three good meals and two good shows. I slept like a log. Back to the present. Now the drive-in restaurant is not there. After the expiry of lease, it was not renewed and the government took over the land. Woodlands Hotel is still there serving quality food. After the death of H.P. Shah, the supplier complex changed hands. It was demolished. Now that place is full of buses. I feel sad whenever I pass through that site. Small Udupi Hotel has also vanished. Sun Theatre was demolished, and there is shopping complex there. Gemini Studios is no longer there. It has become a commercial complex. Cho is still active with his political weekly o'clock and is respected by all by politicians. He has stopped staging dramas, but his plays are still relevant. Balachandar is no more. I never had a similar day with all present experiences. Tell peace. One. Once Mr. Rajvi sir told me, do you know I make money even if a customer does not buy anything? I was puzzled. How was that possible? He explained, there is a practice in jewelry business where contractors pay money to sweep the floors. If there are more footfalls, then there would be more dust. The dust collected is bought by the contractor by rate per kg. The reason why contractors pay money is that there is always a possibility of gold dust being part of the general dust as the goldsmith continues to work in the shop. So Mr. Shah concluded, more the footfalls, more the money. There were two clerks in Madras main bench who used to take a bus every evening to go to drive to in restaurant and take masala dosa. I know their names, but would not like to embarrass them. Apology to those who expected something romantic after reading the first paragraph, wherein I had mentioned that I was staying behind Stella Maris College. Next, Korean Safari. The chapters Golden Jubilee of Joining and An Unforgettable Day in a Bachelor's Life completed. The next chapter will be Kenyan Safari. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, subscribe, and share.